welcome to the Introductory ESL Resource Guide tutorial. This presentation is brought to you by the Dallas County Community College District, Work Ready Youth, and the Adult Education and Literacy, or AEL Department. I'm Jennifer Hills, and I thank you for joining the webinar. What is the goal of the Resource Guide? The goal of the Resource Guide is to provide instructors with information and guidance on developing effective lessons and activities for the English language learner or the ESL classroom. The Resource Guide will be a digital tool that will host a variety of resources for the ESL instructor. We hope that the guide can become a one-stop tool to aid instructors with planning meaningful and relevant lessons for their ESL classrooms. Today, I will simply walk you through the various components of the guide and show a few examples of how the tool will prove to be a valuable asset when lesson planning. So let's get started. Once you access the document, you will want to make a copy. You can do this by clicking File, then Make a Copy. You can rename the document with your last name and keep the file name. Once it loads, it becomes your document. From there, you are able to create and add your own notes and comments to the live document. Having a live document simply means you never have to save. Every update you add to the document will automatically be saved to the document. That also means that any comments or notes that you write on the original digital copy will be seen by everyone who has access to the link. This is why it is important to make a copy of the document. With your own copy, much like your own copy of a book, you can highlight and make notes without affecting anyone else's view of the document. Okay, I'm going to close out the old document, and now we'll just have our newly made copy of the ESL Resource Guide. Now, we are free to make comments or notes on our own copy. So let's take some time now to go through the resource guide. If you scroll to the bottom of the document, you'll notice that we have different tabs. I'm going to walk you through each of these so that you can become more familiar with how the resource guide works. The first tab, of course, is the cover. After the cover, we have our AEL content standards. For those who may not be familiar with the term content standards allow educators to understand where to focus their efforts and shape overall instruction. Standards are then translated into curriculum and lessons for teaching the content of the standards to students. Classroom activities, assignments, and a variety of formative and summative assessments all help determine whether or not students are mastering the skills and knowledge included in the standards. In the resource guide, we have listed all of the ESL content standards for the sub-areas of listening, speaking, reading, and writing. We have also included the standards for various levels of language abilities. This is especially useful for differentiating lessons with multiple learning levels. For those who want to access the AEL content standards, we have provided a link for you. This tool has all of the standards for any type of AEL class, including GED. If you are looking for the ESL standards, they can be found on page 33. Once you scroll down a bit, you will run into the first sub-area. Okay, let's move on to the next tab, which is Lesson Plan Templates. This is where we have placed a few lesson plan templates as examples for instructors. The lesson plan templates all contain the basic lesson plan components, which include a warm-up, introductions, presentations, practice, assessments, reflection, and evaluations. Lesson Plan Template A is a detailed format that allows the instructor to include the standards addressed as well as the lesson objective. Lesson Plan Template B is another type of lesson plan format that instructors can choose to use. This is not to say that your lesson plan has to look exactly like these templates. Following a template just ensures that your lesson plan is aligned with content standards and includes all of the components for a successful lesson. The following tab is the Scope and Sequence tab. ESL instructors can use the scope and sequence as a guide when planning lessons. I'm going to zoom out so that we can see all of the elements of the scope and sequence. This document starts at week 1 and goes all the way to week 10. The document also identifies key elements to include in lesson planning, such as content standards, objectives, vocabulary, and activities in each domain. We have also included lesson ideas for grammar, print resources, and resources for distance learning. For each week, you can find a sample lesson and a sample activity. Once you click the link, you will find sample lessons that can be modified for your class and a sample activity that can go with each lesson. Here is an example of another activity. Once you click the link, you can access each of the activities or lessons. Okie dokie, moving right along. The next tab is the Digital Resources tab. Under this tab, you can find many sources for digital ESL content. We have listed them with a description and provided a link. We have also provided resources for ESL content with Spanish support, as well as resources for lesson planning. I highly recommend teachers using the resources for digital literacy. I have found that typing exercises assist with understanding how punctuation is used in the English language. So, we have listed several free services for typing practice here under digital literacy. Then finally, we have apps for engagement and communication. I'm a big Kahoot fan. Students really enjoy using Kahoot for reviews. I also enjoy Poll Everywhere as it gives students a chance to voice their answers or opinions without having to speak in front of everyone. Please be sure to check out the links on this page, especially if you and/or your students have access to technology. Let's move forward to our next tab, which is our Distance Learning tab. Under this tab, we have included various policies and state-approved curricula for distance learning. We have also included the link for USA Learns, which is a free internet-based website for English language learners. Each episode contains a series of exercises for vocabulary, comprehension, and grammar. Remember, if you're interested in providing a distance learning course, you must complete a required state training. For more information, please contact Amy Finley. Her information will be located here on the document, and I will be sure to give you her email at the end of the presentation. Finally, we have the ESL Community tab. Here, you will find a variety of resources for ESL professional development and trainings. If you're looking to gain more experience and education in the field of ESL, please be sure to visit the following websites. Okay, perfect. I have walked you through the ESL resource guide. I hope that this tutorial was very helpful, and I hope that this tool becomes a useful guide to many instructors. If you have any questions or would like more information on how to navigate through the document, please feel free to contact Amy Finley at afinley@dccccd.edu or myself at jennifer.hills@dccccd.edu. It's been a pleasure, and thank you again.